In this episode of Super Seicento, it's going to be a little bit different because for this one I'm going to have to issue a little bit of a spoiler warning. Hi everybody, welcome back to Super Seicento, and those of you that have been following my videos on my channel for a little while now might remember when I said this. And the kind of early ones, they had a spoiler up here. They had a spoiler up here. In the future, mine will be getting one, don't you worry. Well, today we're going to do it with an actual Fiat Abarth spoiler for the Seicento, bought from the same James Hensey that actually helped wire in my remote central locking kit from the Cento UK Facebook group. He got me the spoiler, it's in great nick, I love it, and now we're going to put it on the car. I love my Fiat Seicento Sporting, and since day one I've loved its sporty tough looks too. With one exception, and that's the way that the rear kind of slopes down like that. It kills the sporty stance that the rest of the car has. Well, adding an Abarth spoiler to the rear ought to fix that. We start by lining the spoiler up on the tailgate, making sure it's in the exact right place before gently penciling on some guidelines which can be rubbed off afterwards. Making simple guidelines helps to locate the spoiler with the Sikaflex on it and means that we know it's in the exact right place, which admittedly is less of a concern with factory parts like this one. Next, I nearly dropped the spoiler, and then it's time for the Sikaflex. This stuff is so strong it's actually used to attach panels onto some new cars, and once it's dry, it's near impossible to get off, which is why we're both wearing rubber gloves. A thin bead of the adhesive is spread all the way around the outer lip of the spoiler, and we're careful to cover the whole area but not overdo it to minimise the spooge when it gets pressed onto the tailgate itself. Sikaflex applied, it's then time to stick it to the car. We carefully line it up with our pencil marks before pushing it into place and then pressing on it all the way around to stick it down and get any excess adhesive out. We've then got to wipe off the small amount of spooge using clean, dry cloths and wiping all the way around to get the excess off. We need to be neat and efficient with this to prevent the Sikaflex from drying on the paint. Cleaning done, we then use masking tape to hold the spoiler on. This isn't some ghetto method of spoiler attachment though, it secures it overnight while the Sikaflex dries. With plenty of tape on the tailgate and the car itself to hold the spoiler on, the car can be left overnight for the adhesive to dry. The next day the tape comes off and the spoiler looks awesome, adding a sharper, sportier look to the rear end of the car. Yep, the spoiler is looking awesome, and in fact, as you can probably see from the edge of this shot, it really adds to the look of the back of the car. Next up we're going to be doing another mod that's for form, but it's also got a bit of function with it as well, because when I'm driving along I like to have the window open a bit to get a bit of fresh air in, just to kind of keep the cabin fresh and feeling nice. But when you're driving along and it's raining, of course you tend to get a bit of rain coming into the car, going all over you, and that's not pleasant. No one likes that. Even when you're just sitting still in a car park, that happens in fact. And when you're driving along, also there's a lot of wind going in, which can be bad for seeing where you're going and stuff like that. So to that end, I have bought these. These are wind deflectors. In fact, these are by Team Hecko, which are widely regarded to be the best in the business. Don't worry, there is another one just out of shop. And these are going to go up here in the window frame, and hopefully they should block any wind coming in, they should block the rain coming in, and they will have the added bonus of adding a bit of style to the car as well. They shouldn't be too hard to install, but we're going to find out, so let's get to it. We start by following the instructions, peeling off the sticky backing and then inserting the wind deflector into the bottom of the window rubber first. However, with about an inch overhang and feeling like we're going to break it by trying to make it fit, we decide to ignore the instructions and slot it in from the top first. This proves to be a good move though, as it goes straight in, and being made to fit for the car, it's shaped perfectly. Next we've got to put these small metal dividers in between the wind deflector and the window rubber to separate them and create a new channel for the window to go in. It's as simple as one towards the bottom, one towards the top, and using a firm push with the end of a screwdriver to slot them in, it's completely done. Then it's time for a window check.
That's fine, yeah.
It's good. Passenger side done, it's then onto the driver's side, and after tackling the sticky backing, we once again slide it into the bottom before working our way up the rubber to gradually slot the whole thing in. Then I push the dividers in, test the window fitment, and the wind deflectors are done.
Good. Okay. Lovely. Put that window up, and we're all done.
Next up we're going inside the car because it's another cosmetic improvement, because at the moment the central dash fascia with all the heater controls and the light controls and all that sort of things on it is silver, and that's fine, it's perfectly okay, it just adds a bit of brightness to the dash, but I'd rather have something that looks a bit different and a bit cooler, so I've actually managed to source this. This is from an earlier model Seicento Sporting, the pre-facelift ones, and this is a sort of carbon fibre look dash piece. It's exactly the same shape and size, and it should just click straight in. We're going to find out though. Famous last words, as it turns out. Anyway, we begin by undoing the 2 lower T6 screws in the dash, and then using a screwdriver with a rag over the end to avoid scratching the soft plastic trim, we pry the bottom half of the fascia out. The central fan speed knob then pulls off to reveal a hidden extra screw.
We've got to undo a tiny little screw behind the back of the fan knob to take the dash piece off, but we can only, it's millimetrically in there, like tiny little Italian/Polish hands could only just access this, so we may have a bit of a trouble on our hands.
With a super long screwdriver, the tiny hidden screw is undone and the whole fascia then pulls off. After unplugging the controls from the wiring, the entire switch module can then be unscrewed to be removed from the old fascia.
I don't know if they're all... Well, that was a 90% success.
The switch module gets clipped and screwed into the new fascia, and then the whole unit can be plugged back in and reattached to the dash. The clips all lock in easily, we test all the controls work, and then the tiny hidden screw and the 2 T6 screws are done back up. And then there's a problem. A small metal clip which locates the fan knob onto the pin itself was bent slightly during removal, and we can't easily reshape it to make the fan knob slot back in, despite furious tinkering with a screwdriver. So it's over to the workbench, and using some pliers, the bent metal clip is shaped onto the fan knob. Sorted. Or not. We then found out that the piece of bent metal is actually to pad out and fill the gap between the selector pin and the knob itself, not to locate the knob. With the whole thing put back together, I then test that it still lights up with the headlights on, and when I was driving that night, I actually found out that the fascia now lights up green rather than the previous orange. Pretty cool.
Our little makeover is nearly done, but since I've mentioned them a few times and I'm a massive fan of the group, it only seems right that I represent Cento UK with a couple of awesome stickers.
The protective backing is peeled off and the sticker is placed on from one side to begin with, and the rest is smoothed on gradually with the exact same plastic business card that we used for my vinyl bonnet stripe. The plastic peels off and that's that one done.
Oh yes!
Before putting stickers on, ideally clean your windows with clean water and a clean dry cloth. Don't use glass cleaner though, because some of the chemicals in that can prevent stickers from going on properly. As with last time, the side window sticker gets the back peeled off, is lined up straight and then laid on from one side before being smoothed on gradually all the way to press any air out and to smooth the sticker. The plastic is then peeled off and that last sticker finishes up our little makeover.
Oh yeah!
Haha, how good is that? I like that. And that looks really good on the side of the car. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. In summary, the Abarth spoiler was super easy to line up, being a factory part, and provided you've got a steady hand for the Sikaflex and you stick it on well, it's really easy to add a spoiler to the rear end that makes it look sharper, sportier, and all round better. The Team Hecko wind deflectors were easy to slot in, provided you ignore the instructions as we did, and I think they look really cool and classy. I'll report back on how effective they are in the future, but the install was easy and I love the look. The dash fascia was fiddly as hell, and you have to be careful not to break any clips. Make sure you've undone everything before trying to yank the old one out, and don't spend 10 minutes trying to make something fit that isn't supposed to, like we did. Install aside though, it looks awesome and definitely gives a sportier feel to the interior. And finally, obviously putting the stickers on was super easy. They look great, and that means I can represent one of my favourite Facebook pages, full of like-minded lovers of these awesome little cars. This whole mini makeover though was pretty easy to do, super cheap, and I love how all the little changes are adding up. The look of my car is really coming together.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe for more Super Seicento videos in your subscriptions box as soon as they are released. And in fact, coming very soon, we're actually going to put the cosmetic stuff to one side for now, because we've got some really big and really exciting mechanical and performance-based mods to come for my brilliant little Fiat, so stay tuned for that. But for now, thanks for watching everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. Take care, see you soon, and have a good one. Yeah.
What's your YouTube?
I'm Miller Corner on YouTube.
Miller Corner.
Yeah.
I'll subscribe to you.
Cheers.